If your Circulytics application is successful, it's time to collect your company data. This starts by accessing the welcome email that the company reporter will have received from circulytics@emf.org. This email will include a secure link to the survey platform provided by Qualtrics, along with the reporter's unique login details. But first, in this welcome email, the reporter is provided with a template, which provides companies with the ability to collect data offline before uploading said data via the online survey. This template is particularly valuable for large, complex organizations that will need to input data from a number of people and data sources before aggregating and uploading to the online system. This page on your screen is the starting page. We recommend you read this carefully to find out how to appropriately utilize this important resource. The second tab is the Basic Company Information tab. Here, we ask simple questions such as company name, reasons of activity, and total number of employees. In question 0E, companies can choose to either respond on behalf of their whole company, that is, a single unit, or on behalf of multiple subunits, which can be defined as the responding company sees fit. We generally recommend splitting the assessment into subunits if the characteristics used to tailor the assessment scope in Circulytics look very different for parts of the company. For example, if companies are significantly different in terms of their industry, if parts of the company sell energy, or if parts of the company can be classed as a financial institution. If you do opt to respond on behalf of subunits, please ensure that the defined subunits are exhaustive of the company, enabling us to calculate a whole company score in addition to each subunit. Whether the company opts to respond on behalf of a single unit or multiple subunits, the company will be asked to define the scope of their submission in question 0G. If your submission does not cover your whole company as defined by the definitions, you must select Customize Scope and describe the scope in the text box provided. If your submission does not cover your whole company, whether done as a single unit or split into multiple subunits, you will not be given the permission to disclose your Circulytics results and scorecards, and your submission will neither receive nor will be added to the industry benchmarks. Once the basic information is provided, that is, questions 0A through to 0J, the reporter must provide company characteristics. These are question 0K through to question 0Q. These questions will dictate which indicators will be displayed later on in the survey. An illustration of how these questions in company characteristics impact the flow of the survey can be found on the README page of the data collection template, and can also be found in Appendix 1 of the method introduction document. The first question in company characteristics asks for the company's primary industry, according to the Circulytics Industry Classification System. The applicability and display of the remaining questions in company characteristics, that is 0L to 0Q, depends on the industry selection, as well as other selections made in these subsequent questions according to the flowchart shown a moment ago. If the company elects to respond on behalf of multiple subunits, then relevant questions in the company characteristics will be asked both at the whole company level as well as the subunit level. The example shown here is a response for a single unit covering the whole company. The cells referring to subunit data are greyed out as they are not applicable for this submission. Next up is the information for weighting section, which asks questions that will dictate the weighting of the Circulytics scoring indicators later on in the assessment. The information is also used to provide better benchmarking and to aggregate subunits if applicable. Once all the required fields in the information for weighting section have been provided, we move on to the indicators that count towards the Circulytics score. There are two distinct categories for indicators. Firstly, indicators in the enablers category are grouped into 5 themes. Secondly, indicators in the outcomes category are grouped into 6 themes. Within this outcomes category, the company will be assessed on a subset of these indicators, depending on the selections made earlier in the company characteristics section. The aggregation helper sheet can be used as a space for the reporter to aggregate data from various geographies and departments. Follow the instructions on this tab and use the examples provided to understand how to aggregate data from multiple sources in order to fit the format of Circulytics. Once the reporter has collated all the relevant data for all the relevant indicators, it is time to access the online survey and submit the data.